Hey ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kenobi here, and I'm back again for another MLP Season 5 review, and today we have Episode 16, Made in Manehatan. Now this was a really good episode. It wasn't as good as last week's episode, but it was still decent on its own. This again was, I guess in some respects, it was another rarity episode, so spoiler, if you have not seen the episode, click out and go watch it, or go watch one of my other MLP reviews if you want. But anyway, so yeah, but this wasn't just rarity on her own, this was rarity with Applejack this time, and finally, you know, it has something to do with the friendship problem. So the episode starts off, we see that Twilight is bored, you know, she's reading books, and she's read all of the books, and we see Spike is reading comic books. So then she tells him she's bored, but then she goes to the map and finds out that it's blinking. And then Rarity and Applejack burst in, and it's just them. It's not Twilight, even though Twilight's a little disappointed, but she's like, oh, it's fine, go ahead. So of course, they're called into the smallest part of Manhattan to solve a problem, a friendship problem. So of course they go there, and Applejack is a little city sick, you know, this is the first time she's been, well, this isn't the first time she's been in Manhattan, but, you know, it's she's trying to get used to it, you know, and, she's shaking, she's nervous, and of course we see Rarity, helps this, Philly girl out with the hat problem. She gives her one of her custom hats that she brought. And then, you know, they're just trying to figure out why were they summoned here? What do they need to do? So, of course, they start asking everybody, do you need help with something? But then they get a letter from Rarity's old friend, Coco, who tells her that she needs help with her stage performance, with the costumes. So, of course, they go to her. She explains everything and what, you know, this performance, this Broadway play means to everyone and to her. So of course, you know, she's got the actors coming for rehearsal and fitting, and she needs help. So of course, you know, they go and do what they need to do. And of course, Applejack, you know, says that she'll take care of the stage, and we see this park. You know, well, before we get to that, they actually go out and ask people if they can help or attend, because she needs volunteers, but nobody wants to help. So, of course, it's just Rarity and Applejack. Rarity helps Coco with the costumes, and Applejack tries to get the stage set up, and of course she experiences a lot of difficulties. Her poor hat gets destroyed a couple of times. You know, she's just trying to pull the weeds out. And then, you know, finally the actors come and they get on the stage, and the stage collapses because Applejack didn't reinforce it yet. So the park is just a mess and there's nothing they can do. So of course Rarity and Applejack are questioning, saying, why did it just summon us? You know, of course it makes sense that Applejack says it makes sense with Rarity because she's good with costumes and she's Coco's friend. But why her instead of Twilight? Because Twilight could have used her magic to make the park better like that. You know, but then, you know, when all else fails, you know, Applejack decides, okay, since we can't fix it, we can try something else. So of course they build a set, they build a stage, and they use old-fashioned methods. You see drawn backgrounds on there, and of course, when the actors start rehearsing, you know, one by one, it attracts everyone in Manhattan to there, and this play goes on for hours, and after it ends, everybody loves it, and everybody loves Coco for doing it, and of course, you know, Applejack and Rarity get thanks for the credit, and of course, Rarity buys Applejack a new hat, they celebrate, and Rarity goes to help some other pony with her hat dressing problems, and that's where the episode ends. So this episode was really simple, you know. What I think I loved about last week's episode, it was, you know, it was a take on the film noir, a classic 20s case, but this one, you know, is back to basics. but I like that. Now, this episode was not bad. Far from it. It was good. You know, it was a very average episode. But you know, what I really liked about it is, you know, the chemistry, the continuing chemistry that Rarity and Applejack seem to have. You know, out of all of the ponies, they have the best chemistry, aside from Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash, or Fluttershy and Twilight. But I think, you know, Rarity and Applejack just have this, you know, chemistry that I just can't explain, you know. And I liked, you know, how, you know, finally we're getting a friendship problem, and how finally we're going back to Manehatan, you know. So it was really good, you know. And I really did like seeing Coco again, you know. It was really good. You know, and I liked their take on the Broadway, and I liked the end message because, I mean, they said, you know, if Twilight did come with them, it would have been done. But the way, you know, Applejack did it, she worked on something small so the people could, you know, pick up after that to work on the bigger things. You know, so I love the fact that they addressed that, and that kind of really does make sense. Oh my goodness, this episode was just really good, you know. It was, and overall, you know, I really had a lot of fun with this episode. The chemistry between Rainbow Dash and Rarity is good as always, you know. Just unbelievable chemistry. You know, I liked seeing Coco again, and I liked, you know, the message, and I especially loved the Broadway stuff. And honestly, whenever all those other ponies were watching, I was watching with them because I really did like it. I liked what I saw, you know, and overall, it had a good, you know, this episode had a good flow to it. So overall, if I had to give it a rating, I would probably give it 7.9 out of 10. Really, really good. You know, a lot, you know, it's getting back to basics, and it's pretty much getting us ready for tonight, because tonight the Friendship Games comes out at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Now, for those of you that may be different time, but rest assured, I will watch it and I will review it, because this could well be the last of the Equestria Girls trilogy. So, yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And until then, fellow bronies and Pekka sisters, this is Richard Kenobi saying, may the Force be with you, and be 20% cooler. Later, guys.